Hello here. Yeah. Hello there. I'm Enviroboy. This is my channel. And it's Monday. It's a nice, kind of mostly sunny Monday where I am. Mostly. Which is a shocking change of pace. Considering I think we have had rain for just about 2 solid weeks straight around here. Which is not unheard of, don't get me wrong. That's a pretty normal thing for us to be experiencing around these parts of the world, but still, it's nice to see a bit of sun. Kicking off the month with a bit of sun there. Yeah. I'm looking out the window, that's why I'm staring off from here. I'm not just like staring off into nothing. There's my window right there. I moved that's why I'm like the scenery changed right back here, because I moved my furniture so I can have my desk right by a window, as opposed to having it tucked in a dark, sad corner all the time. And it was definitely the right decision. It was definitely the right decision because this window is right here. Quite lovely. I can see quite a few beautiful trees. They're all dropping their fall leaves. It's quite scenic on a sunny fall day like today. So, all this to say, I'm in a good mood this Monday. I hope all of you are too. Gonna give it a couple more minutes just to see if other people want to trickle in here, but yeah, you know, I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling good on a Monday. Was that South Park is the Lord episode, right? Yeah. Which, now that I think about it, that's an older episode than I feel like I remember it being. When Stan's dad was Lord. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, Lord is still doing her Lord things, but she hasn't, at least not that I'm aware of, she hasn't been the forefront of everyone's attention for a minute. So the fact that that she was the focal point of that episode kind of is a bit of a giveaway on that one being a little old, isn't it? But I don't know, it's a weird tangent to be on. Strange tangent to be on. But yeah, I am in a good mood today. Which is, you know, good for everyone. Which is good for everyone. Check a couple things since we're giving it another minute or two here for people to trickle in if they are of a mind to do exactly that. There always seems to be 800 things that I need to juggle with my time. I'm sure everyone else feels the same way often in their lives. But no, there's always so much stuff to be juggling and balancing in life, which is, it's kind of one of the reasons that I really like doing the streaming. I feel like the stream is sort of turned into a midday opportunity for me to just sort of like stop, kind of reset everything, because the stream is, for me, it's predictable. It's predictable and it's sort of and consistent and enjoyable. So it's a good way to just sort of it's enjoyable, and I guess the other important part of it too is it's kind of all encompassing of my attention. Once I get going, you know, it's like I'm here, I'm in the moment, and I'm doing this. So it's a really good chance for me to sort of reset my brain and my mindset here. All right, and so it's yeah, it's actually kind of a cool little way for me to sharpen up and reset myself in what I'm doing for the day. So it's been a really good thing for me. I don't know, adding streaming into my life. You know, certainly I'm not superstar status here or anything like that. I don't even know if I'd want to be to be perfectly honest. Kind of talked about it, how it's kind of a it's not really a dream of mine to necessarily have my livelihood dependent upon streaming. Streaming is just a fun thing for me. And while in some senses it would be cool, it's actually really freeing to be able to sit here and do streams without really being beholden to anyone, right? I don't have to sit here and do ad reads to try and make money. I don't have to try and sell myself and sell subscriptions and all that kind of stuff. I can just sit here and do what I like doing, and I think that actually makes for much better content. I think that's part of what, you know, as few people as there are that have discovered my streams and are interested in what I'm doing. I think one thing that's appreciated is the fact that I'm not sitting here with an agenda. I'm just sitting here doing what I like to do. So I don't know. Anyway, before I dive into that rant and spend an hour doing it, let's actually just like do what I like to do here. So let's swap ourselves over here. There we go. I do love. So I'm quite fond of having switched over to OBS. I think that's a much. I think it's been a very good switch for me. It's an improved situation. And one of the things I really like is I really like those smooth transitions. I mean, just watch it. It's like, whoa. Like, oh, look at that. It's like I've reached the quality of a mediocre local commercial, right? We've got PowerPoint slide effects going on here. That's how you can tell that I'm really getting better at this and really bringing my professionalism up a little bit here. Oh boy. Anyway, last Friday we were working a bit on our dungeon here, and we're getting to a point. I actually would not be surprised if we managed to finish this. We'll see how it goes. It always ends up taking a bit longer to work on these things and make progress than I expect it to. But that said, we've only got 7 rooms. We've only got 7 rooms that we have to finish. So that's pretty good. That's pretty neato. Pretty neato mosquito, if you ask me. So I suppose let's just dive into it. We started working on some stuff. We're working on our final segment of this dungeon here. So now this room, so room 4 here. So that's this big room here. This is going to have our boss battle. And what I've kind of decided here, let's just go ahead and put our labels here. Boss battle, though arguably labels are bad. I don't know where I was going with that joke, but we're labeling this one. This is our hard battle. And we're gonna do two of our basilisks is what I wanted to do for the boss battle. So it's gonna be a pretty challenging battle for our players here. But I think it's something that if they're intelligent about it and they go about it, I think it's perfectly manageable for a party of 5 level 3 players. So we'll add the details about it in a little bit, but I just want to make sure I don't forget to actually hold on. I'm going to do that and that, and 2 basilisk. Yeah. So we need to think about what is this room going to look like. Now I want to put some sort of like altar or shrine here, in case the giants ever did want to get, you know, a little froggy and start mixing up their sacrifices, their sacrificial approaches here. Let me see here. Do we have like an altar? They do have altars here. So like what I'm immediately thinking, okay, so first off we gotta make sure they're huge, because it's a giant sized altar. That's way too small. These are all way too small. I really want something big and grand. Honestly, you know what I'm gonna do for it? Because I want it to be big and grand, we're just gonna make it even bigger. Like I want this altar to be giant size. Maybe 4 is a little big. Maybe let's try 3. Yeah, it's about the size I'm looking for here. You could do something like that, but I actually really like this. And I want to put, I kind of want to put it right here. So it leads up to the, you know, that's where they chuck stuff off, right? And it looks a little, I mean, we could do something like this. Actually, you know, maybe if we do, let me see here. Let's just experiment. We can always experiment, because if I don't like it, we can always change it back, right? Because if we do something like this, there's like a pedestal that you can step up onto and throw things off. Which is what our giants like to do. I think that actually looks pretty good. And the other option is that, oh, I like that one actually a bit better. I like that one a bit better just because it looks a bit more crumbly and destroyed, which I think is more appropriate for our giants. So if we do that, but then I also think that there needs to be something right here, like some sort of ritual-esque thing. I think that looks good. Yeah, and like if we compare it to the bed size, I think that's perfect, because they'd want it to be big enough that they could make a sacrifice of a giant if they needed to, right? Depending on what the giant tribe leader is thinking, which is really just kind of an incomprehensible thing for most people, so. But I think that works well. What are these? Tar pit? Oh, because an altar. The search function is so goofy on this. So goofy in this program. It's mostly funny, but sometimes it's annoying. Alright, and so, ooh, well, we do not need that one that big. So I'm thinking that they'll probably have, I want to unsnap these, actually. I'm thinking they'll have, like, sort of walkways. Let's go under here. I think it'll have, like, a little walkway pathway there, just like that, that leads to and from the altar there. And then I kind of want to just do, I want to find just some statues, because I think they would probably do their version of decorating here. And so I think, yeah, so like, I don't know, they need to be kind of big. Right, here we go. Just like a couple statues of like these big guys. That looks kind of giantesque and structure, doesn't it, for a statue? I like it. So let's do 3 of them on either side. Boom, and then rotate them around. 1, 2, and a 3. There we go. Alright, I think that looks really good. Yeah, I think that looks good. I think that looks good. That looks exactly like what I'm trying to achieve with it here. So, the other thing that I want to do, I'm going to go down to used. Have I used in this one? I guess I haven't. Go over here. I want to just put, no, not food. Where's our blood stains? There we go. I want to just put like some sort of pooling blood stain. Like, or, you know, or a couple of them on our little altar there. Actually, you know, it'd be great. Check this out. Put a couple like that. And now let's do the dragging motions. Wait, I wonder if they have any. Yeah, no, this is all they have. I was kind of hoping for something that looked a bit more like just a streak of blood, because I think it'd be kind of funny if we put like, you know, like a streak of blood, a couple blood streaks going along, like it got dragged up there. But that looks more, that's more of a splatter though. That's not, I don't know, that doesn't look exactly like I was hoping it would look. I don't know, it'll work, I guess. We can put this one just like this. If we put this just like this, then it'll look like something splattered on the ground and then was dragged, right? And we can do one of these things too, going like right there. Do that, and then maybe put a little pool of blood over here on the altar. So that way it's like, it'll all be dried, none of it'll be fresh. But it'll, it will demonstrate that they have indeed used this altar for the sacrificial purposes that it was designed with in mind. Yeah, that's great. I think it looks really good. I like it. I like it already. So if we do that there, That's perfect. I actually think that's really perfect. I like that exactly as it is. The only other thing I might want to do actually, just for this one, I actually haven't been bothering with it, which I think is a mistake. Um, I was going to, hold on. What if we do lighting maybe? I was hoping they would have a few more options for torches. It'd be kind of cool if we could like set up. We could kind of. I wonder if actually. Hold on. Let me see something here. Let me just try something. Let's try and get creative here. You know, if we just set that like that, that kind of looks like they're holding. That kind of looks like they're holding the torches, doesn't it? If we just set them in here just very carefully. Yeah, that looks kind of like they're holding torches. It's kind of what I was hoping to achieve. So it's like they're holding the torches. See, and we'll do this side. And if we just kind of carefully place them. I actually really like that. I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out already. It's the simple things. It's the simple things that make me happy, and honestly, I think that's pretty fortunate for me, because it makes enjoyment easy and affordable. But we just put those little torches in there. Just give them their little. Just hold on to that for me, would ya? Just give that a little grip with your giant statue hand here. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Okay, that's excellent. I really like how that turned out, actually. I really like that. Yeah, I have not been adding torches to any of the rooms lately, which I think is just silly, because they are a really easy thing to add that actually do add a certain aesthetic pleasure to a room. So I'm going to try and remember moving forward. I'm not going to bother going back and changing all the maps, because I don't remember how far back it was that I started forgetting to do this. So I'm not going to worry about it right now, but we'll keep it in mind and moving forward. Check it. We can put one right there and one right there. Little desk lamps. Gotta adjust the camera so that way when I do my thumbs up, you guys can actually see me being a tremendous dork. But perfect. Okay, so we got those there. I don't know that we really need any other torches anywhere else. They wouldn't bother putting the torches outside. Or inside the walls, so I think that's good. Although this is making me realize I have not done my usual lighting like I like to do. So I'm gonna do lighting right there. We'll do a light right there. Do a light right there. I just add one sort of like a light source. Actually, you know, honestly, if I'm adding the torches, I should just take the time and do it in the torches, and then just do the central light for as like an option for rooms that I do that don't have a light source in there, just so that way players can see the map. The hard part about it, and I actually would prefer to not do that central light, but like I'm always talking about, I always talk to my players, and I try to make sure I provide the type of experience that they're interested in. And I've been told by many players, particularly, it's really only an issue for the online thing, that even though they recognize that their players like don't have dark vision and things like that, even though they recognize that, it's a struggle for them when I don't provide light in rooms, because for them just trying to conceptualize, when they have that visual thing there, even though they know in their brain that they're supposed to be seeing what the character sees, and the character can't see things that are certain distances away, it's distracting and frustrating to them to not have access, or not have the ability to see, you know, what their characters are in the middle of, if that makes sense. And to me, when they explain it that way, it does actually make sense to me, and I'm sympathetic towards that. I'm just gonna put a couple lanterns here now that I think about it, because I think that the giants would definitely want to have like fire rituals going on here. So we're just gonna put a couple lanterns here, and then we can add our light to all of them. Light tool. Boom. Boom. Pow. Hits from the 2000s, baby. From the noughts, as they call them. Can you believe that the noughts were like over a decade away? I was thinking about that the other day, and it just like, you know, I mean, it's expected, and I'm not someone who sits here lamenting time lost or anything, especially not these days, because I'm working really hard to get after the things that I want and appreciate in life. So I'm not gonna sit here and lament about it, but at the same time, years have passed, man. Years have passed. A lot of them have passed. And yeah, I don't know. It is. I will concede that it is weird to be, you know, aware of how time is passing and how much of it is passing, if that makes sense. Like, it's just it's a weird thing to, like, when you do have the chance to sort of just stop and think about it, it's kind of a weird thing to acknowledge. But I don't know. I don't have any upshot for that. I'm just kind of rambling. I don't really even know how my brain got there, but I don't know. It's just an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing to me. Oh, it's, you know, I never really think about changing the ambient light, but I actually really like the idea of modifying the ambient light just a little bit for a lot of these. Like for this one, I almost feel like a light blue. Yeah, even lighter. I really just want a very faint blue tint to it. Because if we did that, like that compared to pure white, right? There's pure white. If we just put a little bit of a blue. Ooh, I like that. I like that. I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I like that. I just, you know, I've got the ability to, with all these tools, to get more detailed and specified in how I'm making these maps, and it's like, it's just kind of silly to not be using that, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I was thinking about that. Notice that. Ooh, yikes. Nope, did not mean to do that. My bad. Come on, go back here. Go back to that light blue. Because there's white, and then there's like just a little bit of blue. Because it's mountain, it's cold, right? Except, there it is. I don't know. I think that just kind of adds that little bit of like eerie coldness to it, which seems appropriate. So, there we go. Okay, I like that. It's already so much more dynamic. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. Cool. Alright. Now let's describe what the players see when they walk in here. Oh, the other thing that we need to add in here. Hold on, let me see here. Boss battle, they need both keys. And they need, and it will give them the key to the Hall of Wisdom. That's right. And so we need to kind of add a little puzzle here. So let's just talk about the boss battle. Oh, there was one other thing I was actually going to do for this. Because there's the basilisks. To give the players the kind of hint that, like, uh-oh, things are about to be not so Gucci here. I want to do statue again. And I just want to find normal human-sized statues. Human-sized and shaped statues, if we can. No, don't tell me there's nothing. Don't tell me they got nothing for just like a normal people-sized one. Guess we can kind of use these. Yeah, we'll just use these. We'll scatter these around. It's no problem. So if we do that one, we do one of those right there, maybe take a knight, right, and just kind of scatter them. We don't need them to be too particularly detailed in how they're placed and how they're standing. It's kind of just more like, oh, they were caught off guard and now they're dead. Nickel every time, am I right, guys? Yeesh. If we just do that, okay, there we go. So that's just like a couple statues there, and I think that's good. They look out of place. Actually, I really like how that turns out because they look very out of place, which they should, because they're just like statues of people that got, you know, petrified and are frozen in place forever and ever. So, okay, so that's good. That covers it. Okay. So first thing we want to note here is players do need both keys. Players need to have found. Let's see. Where did the found the keys hidden in rooms? There it is. Rooms 4 and 3. Oh wait, no, not rooms 4. It's in rooms 6 and 3. To access this area. There we go. Alright, so we just want to add that little note in there. As you push open the doors, a blast of wind hits you. Wait, hold on, I want to make sure to specify. Cold wind hits you. Find yourselves looking into what appears to be some sort of sacrificial. Wow, I really butchered that one. Let's try that again. Sacrificial altar. A tall dais. Dais? Am I spelling that right? Dais? Dais? I think so, maybe. Hold on, let me just look it up. One of the easiest ways I find to make sure you get it right is unless it's not gonna let me here, is I'll always just like look for synonyms and stuff, but it's not gonna let me. I'm gonna assume that's correct. Maybe just look stupid, but you know. I'm used to that one. I'm used to looking stupid, so, you know, I mean, just look at me. Self-deprecation, check, staying humble. Tag that note, yeah. Yeah, there's a way that you can do it, but I'm not going to do it. Tall dais, roughly 8 feet. We'll just say a large dais, because I don't want to repeat the word tall. That sounds clumsy. A large dais, roughly 8 feet tall, sits in the center of the hall, and beyond it you can see a massive platform. Even more startling than that, than the sacrificial structures, is the realization that this room is completely open to the cliff that lies just beyond it, and that the platform appears to run directly to the cliff edge. Massive statues line the hallway. Seeming to watch you with stone. Whoops, not Sith. With that'd be a real plot twist there if we started crossing over fictional lores and added some Sith lords in there. Seeming to watch you with fierce judgment. With fierce judgment. Just to end it right there. Blood, we'll say old, discolored blood stains can be seen on the altar. Can be seen on the altar as though sacrificial blood once. I'm really trying to paint a picture here, right? Because we're setting up a boss battle. So I really want this to feel intense, extreme, grand. And so adding that extra bit of description and really kind of clarifying things so players can get a good mental image of what they should be seeing is a really important component of setting this up right now, I feel. So that's why I'm taking the time for this and really adding a whole lot of detail about it. Let's see here. Old discolored blood stains can be seen on the altar as though sacrificial blood once pooled on the top and dripped down. More blood stains can be seen streaked across the ground between the altar and the platform, making it painfully obvious what happened to the poor creatures once the slaughtering had been completed. I will say, just as strange and unsettling as the rest of the room are a collection of seemingly mismatched and misplaced statues of normal-sized humanoids. And then what we can do, actually what would be interesting here is, I'm going to add a little note here. Let's see here. If players would like animal handling or nature checks of DC 12 is what we'll do for this one, because this is our level 3 dungeon, so we'll keep it at 12. Of DC 12, we'll let them remember hearing stories about basilisks and medusas. We'll do that, right? So that way it's like they can still get a little bit of information, but it's like, uh-oh, which one is it? Oh no. Oh no. We can do that right there. And then, so, we'll say, Medusa's, when players move beyond the altar towards the platform, have the basilisks show up. So that's how we'll trigger that one there. So we can just put that right there, and then we'll add a little description about that happening. Automatic. You hear a strange noise that sounds almost like some sort of wood or hardened, I don't know. Let me change that up here. There's strange noise coming from the cliff beyond the platform. As it grows louder, you recognize it as the sound of scales scraping along stone. Before long, a long lizard-like snout appears from over the cliff side, Um, uh, followed. Actually, you know, we're gonna say a pair of long lizard, followed by the rest of the basilisk bodies. Boom, and that's how we'll dive into the combat there. I think that's good. I think that's good. So we'll do just that. And then they have the battle, and then now we have to give them their final prize here. So let's see here. So let's do. First, we need to just talk about here. Key to Hall of Wisdom. So I'm thinking. So we have this part. This part's gonna take a little bit of thinking here, because I haven't really finalized it, but I have a general idea of how I want to do this. But we talked about how the final reward for this dungeon is going to be is going to be retrieving the key to the Hall of Wisdom, right? That's that first key. That's what they're here for. That's what the final thing is going to be. And we talked about how there's going to be 2 clues scattered around about where to find this key. So I'm thinking one clue tells them where in this room it is, and the other clue tells them how to extract the key from wherever it's hidden. And what I want to do is I want to get very cliche with it. I want to do the obvious one and put it in the altar somehow. I'm thinking that if it's a decorated stone altar, even simply crudely decorated, there'll be a way for the person to hide it, to have put a mechanism. Oh, excuse me. A mechanism so that there's like a small pebble or a chunk of the stone that you press in like a button that will slide open a hidden doorway that's within reach. Is what I'm thinking. It's simple, right? But I don't want this. The challenge of this room was already the boss battle, fighting off 2 basilisks, right? That was the challenge in this room. That was the challenge that this room presented already. So I don't want us to get overboard and have like another really difficult puzzle to solve. If the players have explored and found all of their clues and fought off the basilisks, they've already done the work. They've already done the work to earn the key, as far as I'm concerned. They've already proven their worth as adventurers, and so deserve to receive their gift of the key. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to keep it very simple. As you look around the room with the carnage evident, but over all around you, you take a moment to recall your mission here. And now we're going to do, let's see here, we'll say if players have found either clue, recount said clues here. And so we're going to have to put these in a couple different places, right? Because we're also going to put the information about the clues in the place where they find the clues. See, they've got the 2 clues here. We'll put those there, and we can just copy and paste. But let's go ahead and just come up with them now, which is actually a convenient place to do it, because we got a nice cohesive single list, right? We're going to have them all listed out there, the 2 clues and the results. So we can make sure that they're all cohesive, they work together, they make sense. And then we can just copy and paste them so they can get the little bits that they need. So, clue, oops, I don't want that in red, orange, or whatever color that is. I want that in black. There we go. Clue 1. Let's see here. Let's see here. So, I have hidden the key in the most detestable place within this building. It's in the last place that anyone would. Oops, I always hate when I accidentally double up the thes. It's in the last place that anyone would want to see, or indeed the last place you are likely to see when you see it. So it's like the hint is saying, you know, you don't want to be on the altar. And the truth of it is, if you do see that altar, it's likely it's because the giants are going to sacrifice you, so there's not much you can do. It's too late. We'll say in the north side of the last place. So that way they know it's on the north side of it. And now I'm just being cheeky and clever because that means they will have to walk past here, even if they figure it out. Even if they figure it out before the basilisks show up, right? Even if they figure that out, they'll have to go around there, which will trigger the basilisk showing up. So they can't weasel their way out of the boss battle. They're gonna have to do it. So we'll do that clue right there, and then clue 2. Let's see here. So this one will say, let's say. So I can just kind of come up with a random pattern. We haven't committed to anything. Let's see. We'll say, oh, let's do it. Let's do something like this. The 4th pebble will remove the 7th. Beyond is where you will find what you seek. So these aren't like limericks or riddles or anything like that. He's just like, he's being coy about it. He's just writing things down. And these are like, I really want these to just be like chicken scratch scrawled on some pieces of paper that he just like hides somewhere and calls it good. And the only reason they've survived as long as they have is because there aren't many bugs in a place that's this cold to, like, you know, destroy and consume a piece of paper. So that's like the only reason it's lasted. 4th pebble, let's just here. I've hidden, I'm gonna change this though to being a bit more coy. I've hidden what you seek, the most detestable place within this building. It's in the north side of the last place that anyone would want to see, or indeed the last place you are likely to see when you see it. Boom, there we go. Clue 2, the 4th pebble will remove the 7th. Beyond is where you will find what you seek. And so I'm going to just put some DM notes here just to make sure. DM notes here on the north side of the altar. Boom. And then on this one, we'll do another one and say, if they, let's say, we'll just say, of the pebbles, we'll say of the various stones and pebbles that are along the surface of the altar, there is a set of 10 that goes along in a conspicuously straight line. If players press the 4th from the left, it will trigger a mechanism that slides the 7th from the left to the side, revealing a small compartment where the key is hidden. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. There we go. And so what we can do now is we'll just describe what players will see if they go about it. Let's see here. Once you press the pebble, the 7th from the left, slides over, revealing a small compartment. Inside, you see a glittering object. When you pull the object free, you see that it is a large and elegant key. I want to describe this key in detail. I really want this to feel grand and important, so I want to describe this key in detail. The one thing I gotta just remember, I gotta just double check and make sure I've got it right. There's 4 keys, so I gotta kind of come up with some sort of motif of 4 of them all being similar but different, right? So that it's like obvious, like, oh no, yeah, you need all 4 of these because they're a full set. Like, you can't just get one of the keys and go to a locksmith and have them make copies of it, right? No. These are 4 separately designed, exquisite keys that are all part of a set, rather than all copies of each other. So that way we can ensure that they don't get too cheeky on us about things. The more you think about these loopholes up front, the less of them will still be open when players get there. And don't you worry, though, if you're saying to me, but hey, EnviroBoy, I like it when my players get creative and they find loopholes. They will. They always will. And the main reason why is because they would rather spend 30 minutes being lazy than 10 minutes doing things the proper way. And that's not just a player thing. That's an everyone thing. Everyone will do that. How many times have you found yourself thinking, like, you're sitting there doing a job, right? You're sitting there at work on your computer or something like that. And you're just like, there's got to be a more efficient way to do this. So you then proceed to spend twice as much time trying to find that efficient solution when you could have just gotten it done, under the assumption that it will save you time in the long run, right? But it's like, does it always do that? Yeah, depends on how discerning you are and what battles you pick to fight. But yeah, at any rate, I think it would be good to add the descriptions there. So I'm just going to take us to our main page here. First key is the mountain steps. Let's see here. Second key is in the Durgar. Third is in the Drow City. Fourth is in the Lakeside Cave. Yep. That's perfect. That's perfect. Okay, so I don't know. 4 keys. Could do copper, silver, gold, and platinum or something like that, right? We could do it something like that. Hey, Prince John, how's it going? Glad to see you here. Yeah, we could just do it like that. I think that would work. So we'll start off with like the most mundane of them. So it'll be the copper key. See, there's a large and elegant key. It is made of pure, well-polished copper, and is encrusted with I don't know what kind of jewel would match copper. I almost want to say it's just like a black one, like an obsidian stone or something like that. Obsidian, yeah. Stone in the handle. So there we go. That's all the description we really need, I think. I think that'll do. That gives us, that's their reward. That's their key. They did it. They did it. They found the key. Presumably. I don't know. Maybe they'll quit. Maybe they'll give up and just say like, nah, we retire. And that's the end of the campaign. You never know. You never know. Players do all sorts of goofy things. All sorts of goofy things. But I think that's good. Honestly, I think that's good. That covers everything that we need there. Gives us a good description of everything they're going to see when they enter this area. It's perfect. I think that's perfect. Okay. So, now that we figured out the climax of this dungeon, let's figure out all of the rest of the mundane stuff. Sorry, just checking something real quick. Okay, we're good. Alright, so next room, room 5, we have a medium battle, and okay, that's where one of our clues is hidden. That's right. Okay, alright. So it's getting fun now, man. It's getting so fun. Trying to think about all these things. Alright, medium battle. Did we already haven't a medium battle? We have not. We've had hard and easy and a boss battle. This is our first medium battle, so let's see here. 650 experience points. That's a lot of experience points. Oh, that's a whole lot of experience points, but that's okay. Boy. Boy, oh boy. 650. And this is in a tight enclosed area. Which, again, you know, like I've saying, that it does pose a problem because I chose all these goats. And would they really actually spend time in a tight enclosed area? I doubt it. Let's see here. We did have... We've already kind of established, though... where is it in these battles? Yeah, we've already sort of established we can have the giant lizards that live in the walls there. Actually, you know what I want to do? I'm wondering if we can find another good monster instead of the giant goats that would be more appropriate for in the walls, because we've got a medium battle happening there. Easy battle in 7, which is... Hold on, wait, let me look at my map here. Yeah, medium battle in 7. We might just actually shuffle the boss around. So 6 will have the... had a trap in there. 8 was an inside, and that one had a puzzle. So that works. Because how many indoor spaces do we have left? We've got 5, 8, and 10. So we've only got 3 left. 5, 8, and 10. And how many battles do we have, including this one? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I count that right? So we have the trap and the puzzle. So what we could do actually is we could just swap the places of some of these, which I think is going to make a lot of sense. I think that's going to be kind of our best option here, actually. So I'm going to take this. So we're going to make this one a trap. And we're going to make this one a medium battle. Do that. And then 7 is outside, has an easy battle. And so 8 will make this one... Let's make this one an easy battle. And we'll have 7 or 9. 9 is gonna have the okay, here we're gonna do like a 3-way shuffle here. So this one will have the medium battle, and then this one, room 9, will have an easy battle. We don't need to rewrite battle. We can just do easy. There we go. That should keep our balance where we need it, right? We've got 1 easy, 1 hard, 1 boss, no medium battles. So we still need 2 medium battles, and we need the 3 easies. So that gives oh wait, no, hold on. No, we only need 2 easies because we already have one there. But it was this one is going to have a puzzle in it. So that way we can make sure we don't have that way we're not trying to fill up all of these really tight these tight spaces with extremely difficult combats of, like, you know, there's 10 elk running around in here. What do you do? It's like, I don't know, scratch my head. How'd they get in here? Why did they choose to come in here? Instead, we've just got 1 easy battle, and the other ones will have different challenges, and I think that will work better. It's just going to be easier to design it and not overwhelm players with just this weird bottleneck situation where most of them in a really tough battle can't have their melee attacks because they're stuck in such a confined space. So I just think that's going to work better. I think that's going to work a lot better. And also what that means is because we have the trap and the puzzle for the clues, that way we can use those as things that the guy who hid the clues and the key, and subsequently the key, he set up. One of them is trapped and one of them is like sort of hidden behind a puzzle to find those clues. So it like adds that extra puzzle element for them to have to solve everything to actually really earn that key. So I think this just is going to be a much better balance. You know, and this is a really good example of how, even though I like to randomly assign things, sometimes if you come up with a more appropriate approach on your own, you can 100% use that instead. And that's kind of the beauty about, I think that's one of the beauties actually about having a template. Um, I think the template helps, at least for me anyway, and maybe this is just something that's unique about how my brain works, but when I have that template, it makes it actually easier for me to ad lib, right? It's sort of the same as how if I have a really tightly planned schedule for the day, it's actually easier for me to handle curveballs as they show up, right? Because if you have things planned out, you're much more aware of what your standard situation is, right? Like, you know, with these rooms, right? If I've got the template, I have a very strong idea of what should be in here. So that way when I need to mix things up, throw in those audibles, it's a lot easier for me to think about, okay, what can be next? What do we need to keep? Because I'm already aware, I've already got it planned out what's going to be there. Right? I don't know if that makes sense to anyone else, but it makes sense to me, and that's why like planning is really important, even if we change things up and ignore the plan, right? You want to have that plan so you know the direction you're going, but then if you have to ad lib your way to that destination, right, so that you're taking a different path than maybe you planned, that's fine because you planned it out so carefully. You really know where that destination is. You know where you're trying to go, so it's not as big of a deal to stray from the prescribed pathway to get there. You know, maybe that's a bit better of an explanation, but at any rate, in my brain, that's how it works, and so it's just a lot easier to figure these things out. And yeah, it's moments like these that make me pretty happy about that. But yeah, so if he's gonna trap something, I feel like he would do the trap like it wouldn't be an obvious thing. Which is to say, it wouldn't be, oh, you can see the clue sitting on a pedestal, but as you approach, these things happen. No, it's going to be something more along the lines of he's hiding it. Let's check out room 5. Let's look at the shape of room 5 here. So room 5 is meant to be all of this space that goes up through there to there, right? It's all of this in between space. Let me get a better view of all of it, right? All of this in between space is what it is. And so I'm thinking the guy would have hit it either in here or in here, and he would have put some sort of trap there or there. And I want to put it there because I feel like it'd be kind of fun if he did a trap where it's like we put a tripwire that goes across there, and anyone who triggers the tripwire will cause like this outside portion of wall to collapse in on them, right? So it's like it kind of actually fundamentally changes the structure of the building here, not in a significant enough way that we have to worry about like, oh, does it destroy their access to the areas? No, it'll just reopen another, or it'll just actually for the first time open another pathway between two areas that you can see here we already have a pathway for. So I think that'll work out really well. And it's just a tripwire thing. So I think that's how I want to do it. So I'm going to just try something. No, not fire. You just try doing trap, maybe? I didn't know if they would have a tripwire trap or something. That's okay. That's okay. We don't need it. We don't need it. We'll do just fine on our own. Yeah, I kind of just don't even want to mark anything because it'd be inconspicuous because he has it like hidden in the wall. Is kind of what my thought is. So yeah, it's like if you're not careful getting to it, you can trigger and collapse it, which will make it even harder to find what you're looking for here. But I think that's good. The one thing I do want to do, as always, though, add ourselves a little bit of the spider web thingy. Do this one up in the corner or something like that. Do that, and I don't know, I kind of want to do just like one more, maybe this goofy one over in here. There we go. Okay, so we got some stuff there. This is actually going to be a very unexciting, a very not very exciting pathway for players here. Oh, I'm sorry. Please excuse my yawn. I'm not bored. I'm just... It's siesta hour, and my body's like, hey, you want to do that? It's kind of nice taking a nap. You know it is. It's like, no, I do not want to take a nap right now. do that there. Okay, that's good. And I don't know, we'll just add just a little bit of a visual clue there, just for the players there, just for their sake. Don't really need it. It's not really there. It's kind of in the wall there. But let's see here. So let's see here. As you enter this segment of wall, you hate the dark as much as the last time you were inside these walls, but you do appreciate leaving behind the cold winds that run up, not winds with a D, that run up the cliffside. Run up the cliffside. We'll just do it that way. And now what we'll do here is perception. Here's what I want to do. Oh, so wait, hold on. First, I want to. No, it's over here. This is the one. All right. Perception DC 11 to notice that one of the stones. Hold on. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. See, what did I tell you? I shouldn't have acknowledged it, because now my body's like, yeah. See, right now we're thinking about an app, and that would be just spectacular right now. You know it would be, man. Come on. That's where my brain's at right now. That's where my brain's at. I will not give in. Will not give in. One of the stones on the wall, and that's gonna. We'll just put on the wall of the southeast corner of the hallway. Looks loose and out of place. Perception DC 12. 12 to notice the tripwire along the ground. Boom. Okay, so we do that, and then let's go back here. Oh wait, hold on. Notice the tripwire along the ground, and then we'll say DC 12 to disarm the trap. There we go. Okay, that's what I want. So that's good. So now we can go ahead and say, we'll say, I don't know, yeah, I want separate bullets for this. If fail to disarm trap, actually, let's put that. Okay, so we'll say if fail to disarm trap, leader and 2 spaces behind them make dex checks to avoid being injured by the crumbling wall. That's it. So we'll do that. Wall, and then oh shoot. So here's something that I always struggle with. Trying to think about how much damage I should give them based on their level and based on scenarios. Honestly, because the walls are kind of tall, I think I'm just gonna go, like, they're just walls, right? And so it's like, well, it's not good to have walls fall on you. All things considered, it's not like it's a big rock being dropped off a cliff like Wile E. Coyote style here, right? Like, we're looking at just a wall that's gonna tip over and crumble on you. And more than anything, it's meant to try and make sure that the key is hidden and remains hidden, right? So if like it's buried, then there you go. Um, so we'll say or else 1d6 bludgeoning damage. Why? What is wrong with me? There we go. What is wrong with me that I can mistype it, or like I can type a word incorrectly, the same way incorrectly, like 3 times in a row before I get it right? What is wrong with my brain? What is going on here? Why can't my brain handle this? Makes no sense. But there we go. Okay, so 1d6 bludgeoning damage, and so then we can go ahead and do our automatic here. We'll just say suddenly, the wall surrounding you starts to shake and crumble. Looking down, you can see that you have accidentally tripped a wire that ran along the ground to pull out. Here's what we'll do: pull out a key stone in the wall's integrity. The wall comes crashing down, hitting you and let's see, let's just say hitting 3 of you with various stones of various sizes. There we go. Alright, so we do that one, and then now if succeed, disarm and can approach the loose stone. I don't think we even need to do anything else here. We could just do another bullet for this. Because the idea is, like, this is not something that they can miss. The idea here is, even if the wall comes crashing down, they can be like, whoa, that was weird, that hurt, and then still kind of dig a few rocks away and get access to that loose rock and pull it out. So, oops. It's to be just a normal thingamadoober there. Sorry, just checking a couple things as always. Like I was talking about beforehand, too many balls in the air sometimes. Okay, so as you approach the loose stone, you give it a small tug. It is, we'll say, it is less loose than you had expected. However, after getting a better, getting a better grip. Hold on one second. Okay, mic is silent. Just want to double check. My heater just kicked on, and my new desk placement has me right next to the air intake, so it can get kind of noisy. Just wanted to make sure that the mic wasn't picking it up. It doesn't seem to be, so I think we are okay. As you approach the loose stone, you give it a small tug. It is less loose than you expected. However, after getting a better grip, you don't have much trouble. Wow. See, I spelled trouble there. You don't. So after getting a better grip, you don't have much trouble pulling the stone out of its place in the wall. Crumpled behind the rock is piece of paper. Just trouble pulling the stone out of its place in the wall. So here's a piece of paper. As you examine this paper, you realize that it must be a clue. It's not a blue. It's Blue's Clues. That's what it is. It's a Blue's Clue. Let's see here. Let's see here. A clue for the exact thing you are looking for. And now we will just go ahead and copy the clue. It doesn't really matter which one's which. Just have to make sure both are represented here. Do that right there. Boom. There we go. There we go. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Like I said, too many things going on in my life right now. All right. Okay. My apologies. So there we go. Okay. So we described the trap, and actually, you know what we can do? I'm actually going to change this. Oh, for crying out loud! Why do you insist on doing? Why do you insist on being the way you are? One note. Sometimes one note. Sometimes. Can I get you to make that bullet point black? Thank you. It looks much better if it's that way. Okay, so yeah, this is actually just our reward here, so we can just go ahead and say, oops, we need control, underline, there we go, clue. Okay, you know, why are you the way you are, OneNote? Why do you do these things to me? Why must you mess with my brain? My brain is already scattered and sleepy as it is. Alright. Perfect, okay. Alright, so we got that. Let me just look at this again one more time. Make sure it looks good, because we're just going to put it right there, and the tripwire goes right there. I wish I could put something there that would be a good visual clue to me that that's where it goes. Maybe I can just go ahead and put in just a little bit of like stone type of stuff down here just to like remind me that it goes right there. And we have that little paper there, right? Because yeah, it's supposed to be like the tripwire goes over here. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to assume, maybe, because maybe it is right there, right? And it's like the three people there, so the wall kind of crumbles out, like that much of the wall crumbles on them. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. I think it'll work just fine though. I think that'll be perfect. Okay. I think it'll be perfect, and more importantly, even if it's not perfect, I think players will likely not mind, because ultimately most players will, as long as they're good friends, they will just go ahead and accept what you present to them and have fun playing the game anyway. So that's kind of the good news about it. It doesn't have to be professional quality, because what even is professional quality when it comes to DMing? You know, like one of the like 5 or 10 wildly successful podcasts, and that's success right there. That's like professional success, I should say. Amateur and recreational success comes in an infinite number of shapes and sizes, fortunately for us. Alright, so handles room 5, so room number 6. This room is just going to be another like bedroom type area here, I think. And that's all I really want it to be. You don't need it to be anything. It doesn't need to be anything different than that. As long as it's that for us, it's wonderful and perfect. Yeah. Okay. So if we're gonna do like a bedroom here. I think we can do, if we did it like there, there, da-da, da-da. We could do it that way, or actually, hold on. I was trying to think, like, if they're trying to maximize the use of space. No. Well, okay, so we could have 4 more there. We could do 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, if we do it that way, that definitely is more appropriate for, like, maximizing space. Even the giants would be able to have basic spatial recognition like this, right? To set things up like this. I mean, they're not the brightest bulbs in the box, but they're still largely capable of things like put the square peg in the square hole. I mean, that's just basic common sense right there. You don't have to be a brainiac for that. We could like throw in another couple beds, or like 1 more, just like this, right? Because it's just meant to be. This is just a bedroom. This is where they pack as many people in during the pilgrimage as they can. So we'll do that. Let's go down here. Let's get ourselves some lights that are just kind of scattered around here. Do that. The giants have some basic sense of decor, right? And they'll still put their torches right around. Put one right there and check it. They'll put like these are like their nightlight torches. Some weird thing. It's a weird sentence. I need my nightlight torch. Can you please re-dip it in oil and light it for me? Thanks. Right there, run right there. Maybe that's all they need. I don't know. It's whatever. Light tool. Let's go ahead and plop. Plop. Bloop. 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 And bloop. And bloop. There we go. There we go, so there's some lights for them and everything there, and it's as simple as that. We don't need a whole lot of other description or a whole lot of other decoration going on in this room. It's a very utilitarian room. And okay, and it's gonna have a medium battle in it though. So medium battles was what, 650 experience points? Where is it? Up here more. Medium battle, 650. Yep, that's it. That's it, baby. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Need to get our bullet points going here. Control underline. Medium battle. Let's do. I think what we'll do. We still have both of our medium battles, so I'm gonna go over and under just to mix things up a little bit. So we're gonna go with this one. We're gonna go ahead and say 700 XP. Because there'll be 7 of the giant goats around, is what I want to do for it. So if we do that, then we come over here, 7x giant goat, which are 100 XP a pop, and it's all part. The whole thing is a title. The whole thing is a proper noun, so we gotta make sure we capitalize it. Okay. As you creep into this, as you cree into this room. So cree. What is that? That's like an alien race from something. I can't remember what though. Whatever. I'm not gonna spend time thinking about it. It'll come to me. It'll come to me as soon as I'm not trying to think about it. So let's just hurry up and get to that place, right? As you creep into this room, you find yourself in what appears to be a large bunkhouse that the giants use to sleep in after a long day of walking through the mountains. And or throwing sacrifices off of a cliff. scattered around the room and under the beds are many giant goats. They all appear to be dozing at the moment. And what we'll do then is say, oops, let's give ourselves some red text here so we know. Players may stealth DC 12 because that's the difficult one for this here. The Kree are from Marvel. Thank you, Danny. That's the one. That's the one that I was struggling to think of. I was like, I know that's like an alien race from somewhere. Yes, that's right. The ones that Captain Marvel teams up with. Thank you. Now it will not bother me for the rest of the day. I knew it was from something. I knew it was from something. But I'll be gosh darned if there's just so many sci-fi factoids that really amount to very little crammed in up here between these ears. Just couldn't remember. Anyway, here's my stealth DC 12 to sneak by or sneak attack. Boom, there we go. So we'll just add that little bit there. I think that's kind of all we need as far as describing this room here goes. This is not a complicated room. And now we will underline here and go to key. Alright. And this one, so I want to do it pretty much the same that we did with our other one. Yeah, this one right here. I'm just going to copy it and say the exact same thing. Because they're two keys. Like, you need both of them, but they're two keys to the main doorway to get into that shrine there. So we'll just go ahead and not worry about reinventing the wheel on that one there. Because that would just be silly. And so we'll do that there. That's good. So now room 7 is going to have a battle, and this is where we're going to put the compass somehow. I have no idea what. I have not conceptualized at all what the map and the compass for this this thing are going to look like. I think what's going to make more sense is I think that just to make it thematic, I'm going to have them also be notes from the guy who hid the key to the Hall of Wisdom, right? The key that is found in this altar. I'm going to have that same guy have left like some little notes scattered around that are more so just like his notes about, you know, what the different rooms are, you know, and what things would be of benefit in all of them or something like that. So it's like their players are just finding his written notes about, you know, what to remember as he's trying to figure out how to hide this key or something like that. That's kind of what I think I'm going to do for it. So as far as decorating out here goes, we actually kind of already took care of it. There's not much that we need to do. So I think that'll be just fine. And in fact, what we can do is we can put just like the paper kind of bunched up like right in the doorway here or something like that. I think that'd be perfectly fine, thematically speaking. So let's see here. First, we got to come up with a battle. Medium battle. Okay, so this is the outdoor one. I'm gonna do. Let's see here. We'll go ahead and have this one be exactly 650 XP. So if we do that, and then I want to break that up. I gotta think about the math of it. If we could do 5. If we did, yeah. So if we did 5 of the elk that are 50 a pop, that's 250, and then 4 of the giant goats. That'll bring it up there. I think that'll, yeah, that math's out right. 5x elk worth 50 XP a pop, and then 4 giant goat, and those are 100 XP a piece. Yeah, that math's out. That math checks. Or my brain is just crappy and broken multiple times in a row as I recheck my math. But I feel like either one of those is equally likely, but I am pretty confident that I got the math right on that one. So, all right. Let's see here. Either way, they would enter this area from inside a wall. So we'll say, as you emerge from the wall, you find yourself in a cold, narrow, we'll say garden. It's not really a garden, but it's kind of a garden, you know what I mean? Garden in like the European way, which is to say a front yard, right? So anyway, as you emerge from the wall, you find yourself in a cold, narrow garden that we'll just actually leave it like that. We don't need to add any more details there. As you emerge from the wall, you find yourself in a cold, narrow garden. In one area of the garden is a collection of 5 elk, and in another are 4 giant goats. Honestly, that's kind of all we need there. We'll add just for a little bit of detail. If your experiences so far are to be trusted, you would guess that these animals are all quite territorial. And here's what we can do. We can just add a little bit here, so if players want to, if they can think about it. We'll just say animal handling DC 12 can let them ease by without provoking attacks or any attack. Boom, there we go. Alright, so that'll just give them the opportunity if they want to do that. I'm trying to be more mindful about like adding little notes for those things in there, just so it's like it doesn't change it, because the players open up and say, can we try and sneak by these animals? I would yes and my way through it and say like, yeah, why don't you give me a stealth or an animal handling. But it's like if they're already kind of prepared there and I've got it written down there, that might help me be more clear in how I'm explaining what players see and what things are available in a room, almost as a way of like reminding myself to like prompt them, because I know it's easy for players, and this is something that happens I think with players of just about any skill level and experience level. I think it's really easy for players to sort of fall into a habit of like, alright, more bad guys, let's just go killing them. And so if you offer those little prompts, it's like, remember, there's other ways to do this. It'll kind of keep that idea in their brains and hopefully foster a bit more creativity out of players, right? Which is a good thing. Like, there's nothing wrong with players just going ahead and, scorched earth killing any sort of challenging creature that crosses their paths. There's nothing wrong with that per se, especially in a game like D&D when that's like 50% of the purpose. But I do notice that players oftentimes feel much more, they feel a sense of reward and a sense of pride if they can find a non-battle way to get out of a dangerous situation, because it's not nearly as common and it's not nearly as laid out as battling is. It's just something about it makes players feel better about what they've done. So, or what they've, not like what they've done is like, what have you done? But like what they've done in terms of choosing to not kill things, right? If they can find creative ways to avoid that, then they'll feel pretty good about that. And if there's one thing I'm all about, though I always make jokes and am somewhat serious about messing with my players, the truth is I want them all to have a good time and I want them to feel good about the game that they're playing. So, because if all I did was make them feel stupid, then they wouldn't want to keep playing, and then I would be the dummy. I would be the dummy for ruining a perfectly good game in that scenario. So yeah. So who's the real jerk in that scenario? All right, compass. So like I say, for this one, I'm just gonna put a little note. We'll say wedged into. We'll say into. Wedged. Say between two. Oh wait, I want to do. This one can be fairly easy for players to find. Perception DC 11. Make that a bit easier. Wedged between two stones in the wall, you see a folded up piece. I had it right the first time. Piece of parchment. Fold up piece of parchment. As you pull it out, let me say something here. It appears to have been intentionally placed there, though it's hard to know by whom. Am I using whom right? Or is it, yeah, I think it's whom instead of who in that situation. I know there's a rule to it that I should probably know, but I don't, and I'm not going to look it up right now. So, by whom? Let's see, and so, I want to make a note here. If players already have one of the two clues or have the map, let them know that they recognize the handwriting. So that way they can see it's from the same person there. I don't know if that'll matter to them, but that way we've got it made clear what this is. Let's see here. It appears to be a shorthand set of notes describing where various things can be found in this dungeon, such as keys to different doors and bodies that may still have valuables on them. So it's like they find it, like you can give them the hint, like the guy was just noticing, like, hey, there's this body that has this thing there, and it's like almost like he's taking notes about where to possibly hide something, right? Like taking notes of like, oh, there's this thing here, so maybe not there, you know, just kind of like that. It's a flimsy excuse, but you know, like I say, if your players are nice, and I know mine are, then they won't make fun of you too much, and they'll enjoy the game anyway. So, all right, so that's so that handles that one, and there's really not much else to do to decorate that one. So room 8, this one's gonna have a puzzle in it, and the other clue. So this one is going to. So the first one was trapped, right? We had the tripwire trap right there, and so now for this one we need a puzzle, and that's gonna take place in here. I'm trying to think about a way to, or not a way to, just more so I'm trying to figure out what would be a good puzzle in here, a good way for the guy to have hidden this thing. And I'm almost feeling like maybe he just kind of tossed in a corner, you know, some sort of chest with a piece of paper in it that needs to be, you know, it's like a metal chest, so you can't just smash it open. That needs an answer to a riddle, right? Like the number's there, but it's a riddle, so it would be intelligence, and they have to like use, like, set the number code right on the chest to open it up and get the second clue. So let's see here. And what I think, oh, here we go. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. It's gonna be like, and this is gonna be an example. Let me write it out before I forget it, and then I'll talk a little bit about this. Tucked in the back corner of this space inside the wall, you find a small metal chest sitting on the ground on sitting, S-I-D-D-I-N-G, sitting on the ground on top of a piece of paper. The metal box has three I don't know how to describe it. I'm trying to describe those, like one of those padlocks, right, where you can like spin the discs, right, so that the number that you need for the password is like sticking out. It's supposed to be like those types of things, but I don't know what you'd call them, like tumblers or something like that. I don't know. Box has three wheels that are numbered 1 through 9. And do that. Actually, we'll make it 0 through 9 because it's always that way, because that makes 10, right? Each one is set to have 1 facing out. The paper has only 2 sentences written on it. And so we'll say we'll say one of 4 keys that you seek. 3 more to go. The combination is going to be 1, 4, 3, and that's it, right? That's the clue. So he read it right there, but it's like not super obvious, right? And so now this is an example where I'm going to go ahead and say right here, say intelligence check DC 11. We'll make that one a medium, right? DC 11 to realize that the correct number is 1, 4, 3. And actually, I'm not even going to put this in parentheses. We're just going to put a few things here. If players don't get it and the characters fail their intelligence checks, let's see here, allow sleight of hand to quote pick the lock. Allow sleight of hand to pick the lock by listening closely for the I would say sleight of hand DC 12 to pick the lock. Right, I'm just trying to make sure we give a lot of options, because this is a situation where I feel like it should be a pretty obvious clue, right? There's 3, I'm going to describe it as having 3 numbered wheels there, and there's a note that has 3 numbers written on it, right? And so it's like, it seems like that should be obvious, but this is going to be the type of example I talk about a lot, where when I'm sitting here with the answer in mind, the clue will seem obvious. If you're just sitting there reading it aloud, or even if I make a prop that I can hand to players to show them it written on there, unless I like underline each number or something like that, it might not be as obvious to them. They might not realize. They might think that like it might be too clever. Not in the sense of the players being dumb, but just in the sense of brains are funny, and if you're not in the right mindset, you can miss obvious things, right? Like the way I always describe it is, if you write it plain as day on someone's forehead, they can't read their own forehead, and if they look in the mirror, it'll look backwards to them, right? So it's like, it might be really obvious to you what you've like slapped on their forehead, but because they don't have your perspective, it's not going to be as obvious. So this is a situation where, because like now, if I were to only be hiding some money, right, some basic treasure, some money, I probably wouldn't offer as many contingency plans. I'd be like, yeah, if they get it, they get the money. If not, it's fine. It's they're just a few coins shy of where they might be, and it's really not a big deal. That's not essential. But this is an essential component to finding like the whole goal of the campaign, right? Like this is such a key and important part. So this is where it's really important to make sure we have a lot of opportunities for them to find it. So that's why I'm adding all of these sort of contingency plans. Um, so allow sleight of hand DC 12 to pick the lock by listening closely for the tumblers to fall in place, or allow investigation DC 12 to notice that the proper numbers on the wheel are a little more polished from having been put into the proper place by hands turning them proper place by hands turning them, we'll just say, I don't know, more often. It's kind of a weird sentence structure, but it's fine. So like that is to say, that's just to say, like the other thing is they can use investigation to look closely and notice like, hey, these numbers seem a little more polished, right? Kind of like how if you're being a particularly sneaky little bugger, you can figure out someone's phone password, right? If they're using like the dot patterns of the numbers, you can figure it out by seeing which numbers have all the fingerprints on the screen, right? So you can like find other ways to find these answers, right? So I'm just trying to provide these other options to offer to players. And then the one thing that I will say here, oh wait, hold on, I need to describe this differently though. I just realized I said this is one of this is a clue to one of 4 keys that you seek. 3 more keys to go, just to make sure like they don't think that the key itself is in there. Right, this is a clue to one of the keys. So like worst case scenario 2, if all of that fails, let's say I'm gonna say one more thing here. I'm gonna say one more thing. We'll say box is unbreakable unless they fail everything else, in which case yes, and we'll say in which case yes, and a way for them to get in, right? Because we want to make sure they can get this clue, because this is a really important thing. So we'll just say now for our last thing, just to add a bit of description. Now we're just going to say what they find is in the clue. As you open the chest, you find another piece of paper with the following clue written on it. And then we come back up here. Where is it? Clue 2. Okay. Boom. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Okay. That's all we really need for that. And then actually we can just do. Dang it! It's doing that thing again where it's being weird. It always does. I don't know why I act surprised when it does that, because it's just always doing that. So if we're gonna put just a little chest in there, let's go ahead and decorate here and do that. Let's decorate this room. I'm looking at the time. I think what we'll do is we'll decorate this room and probably call it good. So let's just go ahead and take our time, make this area look nice and pretty. We'll put some, as per usual, we'll put a few spider webbos in here. It sticks out a little bit there, but that looks okay. Put that right there. There we go. That's a good spider web. And then maybe we'll just put one of these in the corner right there. And then we want to go to chest. Oops, no. Chest. There we go. And so oh, perfect. It's got a little metal one. How perfect. And so we'll just put this little guy just right there, tucked in the corner. Tucked in the corner, and then actually we need to put a little piece of paper. Let's do the underneath there. Put that right there. That's beautiful. That's beautiful right there. I actually really like that. Yeah, it looks good. These spider webs are not noticeable at all. Unless you're like right up on it. That's okay. We'll know that they're there. Hey, Calder. The Necromancer is here. I'm so sorry you were coming in right as I am about to finish up the writing stream for today. It's unfortunate timing, but I appreciate that you stopped by anyway. I'm glad that you were interested in stopping in here, and I'll let you know also as I'm doing my closing stuff here for the writing stream. I am sticking around for some video gaming, but the other thing is I can let you know when the rest of the streams are happening. But yeah, I think we have made some really good progress, and I think we are 100% going to finish up this particular dungeon on the next stream. So I'm happy with the progress we made today, and yes, it is getting about to be it's getting to be about that time where it's time for me to call it a day for writing and then make the switch over to gaming. So what's going to happen is I'm going to take about, you know, my usual 15-20 minute break like I do, just rest my voice a little bit, let myself go to the bathroom and all that good stuff. And I'm going to do that, and then I will be back to do some video game streaming. I have a new game installed, ready to go, because we have finished. We did finish Mass Effect a while ago now, and we spent a couple weeks just sort of unwinding, playing some American Truck Simulator. But I'm ready to dig into a new story-focused game, and I think it'll be a fun one. It's one that I haven't played before, but we got that coming up in, like I say, like 15 to 20 minutes. So if you're interested in hanging out with me for that, stick around or come back in like 15-20 minutes, and I'll be here getting ready to game. But if you're just here because you like the D&D stuff, then no worries. There are more opportunities to check me out later this week. I will be streaming tomorrow, and I will be streaming Thursday. This week will be a little different, though. There will be no streams Friday. I have to be out of town because my parents need help house and pet sitting while they are taking a trip. So I will be away from all of my computer and streaming setups and everything like that this Friday. So no streaming Friday, but we will be here Tuesday, Thursday. We will be doing writing. Same time, Eastern time zone, 11:30. So, it's up to you to figure out when that is for time zone. I care about you guys, but not enough to sit here and math out when that would be in every time zone. You got to figure that one out on your own. I'm sorry. But it will be, that will be when I am streaming the rest of this week. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, as always, there's the Discord channel and the my YouTube channel. Feel free to check those out if you're interested in them. But other than that, I guess I'll just say that I appreciate you guys. Thank you, everyone who stopped by. Hopefully there was some interesting stuff for you guys to think about, talking about different mechanics and principles of making some stuff here. Or if all you're here for is some nice chill background noise, I hope I provided that for you too. But either way, I appreciate you guys, and yeah, take care of yourselves. I'll be back in 15-20 minutes, so either I will see you then, or I will see you maybe tomorrow, or maybe later this week. Whenever it is, I'm glad that you guys show up at all. It means a lot to me, and I appreciate it every time. But all right, I gotta pee, so I'm gonna stop streaming now, and I will be back shortly. I will see you guys very soon.